feeling?
So I have not spoken to him yet today, no. He was busy this morning. It's a good day. I'm an optimist. I believe he's going to win. I don't know that that's breaking news, but that's my point of view. Yes.
Hey Larry, good to see you.
Good to see you.
You assume that the president will win. Where does the Republican Party go from here? How does it keep those Trump voters in its coalition after that?
Well, I think President Trump, to some extent, has remade the GOP. And, you know, I was here once a long time ago under Reagan, who did the same thing. You got, you know, the Republican Party today is not the country club, you know, Wall Street party that it was. It's a blue-collar party. It's a middle-income party. It's a party of farmers and ranchers and auto workers. That's what Trump's done. You know, not only lower taxes and regulations. It's just, by the way, it's a small business party. It's not a big corporate party anymore. That's all changed in my lifetime. As I say, Reagan started it, and then it lapsed for a while, and President Trump has brought it right back around. I don't think that's going to change. I think that coalition will hold. It's a party of people with good, honest, traditional values. It's a party of people that don't want China to keep ripping us off and so forth. It's a party of people that loves immigration so long as it's legal, not illegal. I think whatever happens today, those principles and values will continue. That's my guess.
So what do you do after this? What do you guys do on economic policy after this? What do you want to tackle next?
If the president's reelected, as I reckon he will be, we're going to go back to tax and regulation cutting. In fact, we're already planning for some tax cuts. The president has hinted in a general way about middle-class tax cuts, some business tax cuts, especially small business tax cuts. We're going to try to make permanent the 2017 tax cut bill, not repeal it. On the regulatory front, we will have across-the-board regulatory relief, just as we did in the first term. There's a lot of things that we need to catch up to, and we will go for that. The rest of it I will leave. I don't want to be too specific. I can tell you one thing we will do is defend our energy independence. We are not going to knock out fossil fuels. We like plentiful and relatively cheap electricity and gasoline. So I would just characterize it as saying more of the same. More of the same. He gets very high marks on the economy.
Are you going to stick around?
Pardon?
Are you going to stick around?
I take it, I'm an old-fashioned guy. I take it one day at a time. We'll see. Yes, sir.
Mr. Something you just said a minute ago on Barney. I was talking about shareholder responsibility.
Yes.
And I wasn't there, but some of the fact checks suggest that Biden, what he was saying was that he wanted to get rid of the idea that a corporation's responsibility is only to its shareholders. Do you buy that idea more generally?
Look, any large company these days understands the stakeholder idea in your communities. These companies do huge community work and have for many years before Joe Biden figured that out. But I'm sorry, I beg to differ. I've heard him on a number of occasions talk about ending shareholder capitalism. His followers are always talking about raising the capital gains tax with glee, all right? All that's going to do is damage the investor class. We've proven that time and time again. Look, Bill Clinton cut the capital gains tax, to his credit. The Democrats used to understand investment and growth. It's not only the stock market that benefits. It's buying and selling businesses, machinery, equipment. You pay a capital gains tax. These guys, Vice President Biden is going to double the capital gains tax. That is nuttier than a fruitcake, honestly, especially coming after this pandemic attraction, but whatever, at any point in time. He has said many times, no more shareholder capitalism. So we can look up at the book and see, but I will bet you will see no hedging, shareholder capitalism. That sends a chilling signal to everybody. And again, I had a lot of fun just now in the media because I was asking a great question. The people who, on the other team, who dislike supply-side economics, who dislike investors, who always want to penalize success, penalize investors, penalize shareholders. Let's take the teachers union or any government union, right? Their leadership is very left-wing, and they are wonderful about the progressive idea of punishing successful people with higher taxes. They are the ones who will benefit the most. Their pension funds, which have been so badly mismanaged over the years, the only way those pension funds are going to be made whole and solvent down is through the stock market. Honestly, I mean, and I would say that to private unions, public unions, leadership, not the rank and file, by the way. I think there's rank and file understands this better than the leadership. But their very pension funds, deeply underwater, which could wind up, penalizing their own membership, will be made solvent, or at least more solvent, with a good stock market rally. I mean, that's just a key point. I've said this for years. I've said this for many years. Way back when I coined the term investor, the investor class. I still think it. The leadership doesn't understand that because they're very far left. The rank and file does. Their pensions are at stake. So it's just, in a sense, common sense. I don't want to go off the rail on that, but I had fun answering that question.
Mr. Kudlow.
Yes, sir.
Are you going to be attending the event happening later tonight here at the White House?
Yes, sir.
Do you know if people are going to be tested?
Yes, they'll all be tested. Every guest will be tested. And I will be wearing a mask.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Ma'am, yes.
Do you still stand by the president's words that, if they continue counting in Pennsylvania tomorrow, that will be illegal?
I don't know anything about that. I honestly don't know
Well,
that.
the president said it yesterday.
I don't know anything about it. You'll have to go back to him. I can't help you on that.
Larry, what do you make of the stock market, the oil market? Do you think they're saying anything in the last recent days or unrelated?
So can I get you to talk to the camera?
The stock market was definitely rallying because it knew I'd be on the air this morning. That's a joke. You can laugh.
Can't see behind the mask.
It's okay. Stu Varney laughed. You can laugh too. I don't honestly know. Day to day, what's going on with stocks? Is there political forecast? I think the market has been worried about the virus increases in Europe and the shutdowns. Perhaps they're less worried today. As you know, our policy, we are opposed to shutting down the economy or businesses. We tried that in a dire emergency last winter. We do what we had to do. To keep doing that again would be folly. The cure would be worse than the problem. Enormous damages and consequences for that sort of thing. So we do not want to shut down. As long as the president's reelected, you'll hear lots and lots about that.
Mr. Kudlow, how does the administration feel about the terrorist attack in Vienna at this moment, and about the terrorist attack in Australia?
You'll have to ask Ambassador O'Brien. It's out of my lane. Anything else, fellas, gentlemen, ladies, gentlemen?
About Afghanistan?
Sorry?
The future United States will continue their assistance with Afghanistan?
He's the economic advisor.
That's
Anything else, guys?
ask Ambassador O'Brien. It's outside my lane.
One more related to the election.
You're very lively this morning. It's good.
One more related to the election. There have been a number of the president's, outside advisors, people you know well, who have encouraged him to talk about the economy more in the closing days of the campaign. What do you think of the economic message that he's been delivering on the campaign trail, and should he have talked about his economic record more?
I think he's done a good job. Look, there's a lot of advice inside the administration that encouraged him there. I think going back to when the president spoke virtually to the Economics Club of New York, and you had Chicago Economics Club hooked in, Florida, I believe Pittsburgh as well. I think that was a great message he made, a great economic message. And that was about, I think, 3 weeks ago or so. Subsequently, I spoke to those groups as well. I think his emphasis and his statement on the economy were terrific and very focused and concentrated with numbers. I encouraged him to do that. We had a good long session right before the debate where he did a great job. and it's a great. People say it's his strongest suit. Well, all right, it's one of his strongest suits for sure, and it's on everybody's mind. But the key point that he's made time and time and time and time again is you have a clear choice, really a clear choice. The other team's going to raise taxes and regulations and probably doom us to stagnation and decline and pessimism. The Trump team, on the other hand, will continue on the path of growth and prosperity and optimism by cutting taxes and regulations, energy independence, good trade deals. We want growth. We want opportunities for everybody. We want more of the record low unemployment for every single group, blacks, Hispanics, Asians, women's, with high school education, without high school. We want to get back to that point. We are well on our way in a V-shaped recovery. This economy right now is booming, and it's a blessing, and part of it has to do with the reopening of the economy and the rescue package and Trump policies, which will be continued. So that's my take. I think he's done a great job on the economy.
Real briefly, since we know that a relief package isn't happening before Election Day, do you think it'll happen as a 2020 event or a 2021 event?
I wouldn't want to forecast. We'll see.
Thank you guys.
Have a good day. Have a good evening.